Hey guys, Codex here, and welcome back to another mod spotlight. Today we're going to be talking about the Woot mod. So basically what Woot is, it's a mod that was created to remove the pressure on server from mob farms. So basically, instead of having like an actual spawner, so let's search a spawner here. Let me see if it's gonna, yeah, there it is. So of course I can't find a spawner. We'll see if this works, but instead of using like spawners like these, or like the ones from Draconic Evolution or Ender IO, both has a spawner as well, or even Mine Factory Reloaded, instead we get these Woot farms, and basically what they do is you choose the mob you want, and you place it in there on the Woot farm, and it spawns one mob one time, and it calculates all the possibilities that could ever possibly spawn from that mob, and then it just I guess it gives you the items, air quotes. It outputs them to a chest instead of actually spawning it and killing a mob to get that done. So yeah, so first off, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the actual factories. So if you go in the Woot mob, you can get this mob factory layout block, and all it is it's chiseled stone, a factory casing, which is made from under iron, a yaw hammer, and casing die, whatever it is. So this is the recipe for the casing die, and then if we go ahead and look at the yaw hammer, it's just nether brick, pretty easy. And then we have the under iron, which is like the only thing that Woot like specifically makes, I guess. Kinda, I don't know. It makes the shards as well, but under iron, which is just the yaw hammer, some iron ingots, and a mesh die. And yeah, so you go ahead and get this mob factory block. You place it down right there, and then you can click on it, and it'll show you all the different tiers. So if we look at the tier one, we can see that it uses a couple different types of blocks, which are basically, we have the mob spawner and grinder, which is crafted like this. There's a bunch of factory casing. There's a bunch of different casings. You see there's some diamonds in there, a bunch of stuff like that. And then we also have the mob factory block, factory casing, which is more of that. So this one is made out of rotten flesh, bones. Orange is made out of blaze powder. And then we have ender pearl. And then finally we have nether star shards, which is nether stars, which luckily gives you 9, so you can get 9 blocks out of it, but still, it's pretty expensive. So if we go ahead and take a look at our mob factory 1 right here, you can see I built it up all the way. We also have these tier 1 end caps. Depending on the tier of the factory, iron plated skull is just some skulls, skull die. It's not too super complicated. And each tier, so there's 4 tiers in total, will have a different type of end cap. But if we look at the factory here, we're going to go ahead and take a mob prism and a mob controller. So I'll throw, is it going to let me? There we go. So we have our mob prism, mob controller. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the mob controller on top here. It goes on the top of this, of the factory spawner and grinder. And then we take our mob prism. Here's the recipe for the mob controller. Then we take our mob prism, bunch of die, mob prism frame. Pretty simple. And we're going to left click on a mob. Now I chose a pig because it's a tier 1 type. As you can see, they're attack to capture mob using controller to program. Mob pig tier 1. So not all mobs work in the lowest tier, depending on obviously like the tier it goes up. The tier 4 is for the bosses only, so like the ender dragon and the wither. And then we're going to right click on that, and it's going to fully form our factory for us. And then as you can see here, there's some power bar, there's some progress, and we're going to go ahead and sneak. And as soon as it was created, that we always have a 100% chance of getting cooked pork chop from here. Okay guys, so once we have all this set up, we also need to power things. So we're going to go to the bottom here. There's an output here, or input, kind of doesn't really matter. And it's going to go ahead and make some progress, and every single time it spawns, it's going to give us 3 pork chops. So I've had it running twice here, so it's giving us 6 pork chops. So now there is a way to go ahead and upgrade the speeds, but there's a bunch of different upgrades, and so basically we have the rate upgrade, makes it spawn every 160 ticks instead of, I believe it's 320 ticks. We have one that increases looting, which is basically just like the looting enchantment, but it applies that directly to the kills. Mass upgrade, so it spawns 4 mobs instead of, I believe it's 2. We have the decapitation upgrade, which gives you heads. Efficiency upgrade, reduces power cost. And then we have the XP upgrade, as well as we have a blood magic upgrade, which if you apply it to that, it will give you life essence, but you also have to have a blood magic ritual above the factory, and it can only be used with the tier 3 factory. So as you can see here, we're getting some pork chops spawning and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up the rest of these guys. So we're going to put a mob controller there. And so now we're going to take our mob prism. That's going to replicate it. We don't want it to. We'll take our mob prism. 2, 3. And then we're going to also get a blaze. Come on. So we're going to get a spawn of blaze. So our blaze is going to be our tier 2. So there's that tier 2 spawn. We're going to take an enderman. That's our tier 3. And then we are going to combine this in a crafting table. And what we're going to see here, so we're going to take a mob prism, a crafting table, and an ender dragon egg. So our mob prism and our dragon egg. And we're going to combine it in this crafting table right here. And it's going to give us the mob for that. Now with the wither, you can just go up and left click it. But with the ender dragon, you have to do it that route. So the ender dragon normally works with a tier 4, but I obviously did something wrong, and I don't know what it was. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that for right now. But basically, so like I said, you go up the different tiers. Each tier, so like the orange block required the blaze rod, so obviously for a tier 2, you're going to have to kill some blazes before you can spawn the blazes. Same thing with the green one. Make our way back here. So same thing with the green one, you have to make an enderman before you can spawn them in, which seems pretty reasonable to me. So, but basically, if you want to go ahead and upgrade this, all you have to do is you remove the capstones, and then you just build the second ring around it and put the new capstones on it. It's pretty simple. It does that all the way up through the tiers. So that's how you upgrade. And then, so we're going to go ahead and throw some we're going to throw some of the upgrades. So let's do, let's say, a mass upgrade, and let's do a rate upgrade. Now you can do up to 4 upgrades, so you can have, on the tier 1, you can only have 1 set of upgrades, but all on the other ones, you can have up to 4, so 4 on each side, even with the bigger tiers, only 4. And basically, so we add those here, and we can see it's spawning in a lot faster now, and it's spawning 4 mobs instead of the original 2. Now, with the tier 1, you can only have the tier 1 upgrades. With the tier 2, we can add the tier 2 upgrades. Let's go tier 2. As you can see there, it gets kind of cool and fancy. And then we can go tier 1 and tier 2. So tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 2, tier 3. And we can have 2 more on that side, 2 more on this side, or 4 on this one. And basically, there's only up to tier 3, but as you can see, we're getting a lot more spawns now. 8 mobs every 4 ticks. It spawns a lot faster, but it requires a lot more power, which is not necessarily always a good thing unless you have lots of power. So yeah, so now we only have 2 more things to talk about. And basically what that is, it's called the Mob Factory Extender and the Mob Factory Proxy. So what we do, if we go down here, as you can see, there's only 1 output, but if you were, for some reason, wanted the outputs on the bottoms and not the chests up top, you could go ahead and you could take the extender, so we'll put the extender in right here, and it's going to fully extend, and then we can throw a proxy on, and then we can have the power input from here, and we have inputs from every side now. And that works only from the bottom part here, but it's pretty cool because you can put it underground, or you can keep the chests out of the way if that's what you chose to do. So yeah, so that has been the Woot mob. Basically, just to recap, it's a fancy version of a mob spawner. It's really pretty awesome. It's in the Feed the Beast Beyond packs. I believe it's in most of the 1.10 packs as well. And yeah, so you guys should definitely go ahead and check it out. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Tell me what mod you think I should do next and what you thought of it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye.